Ren, isa kang uwu! Hindi yung uwu! Hey everyone, it's Martin and today we'll be making some Shokupan or Japanese milk bread loaf. Shokupan or Japanese milk bread is an enriched dough which actually uses a unique technique called Tanjong. So the process here is we combine the liquids, so some water and some fresh milk, bring it to a light simmer. So what we're gonna do here is we are gonna be cooking some of the flour. Mix while adding your flour little by little. So right now we're making a paste, that's what Tanjong is. And what happens here is we are cooking the flour, and by doing that, we are locking in some of the moisture. So that's why when compared to the regular Pullman loaf, parang mas moist, mas soft yung Japanese style no loaves. So I'm just gonna transfer it here to cool it down. Spread ko lang para lumamig agad. This locks in the moisture. It helps the flour or the dough retain more water or milk in our case. Set this aside to cool. And then now for the main dough. Tapos na ako sa mga manual. Yeah, so first thing I'm gonna do is dissolve my salt into my fresh milk. Then, yung sa bowl ng stand mixer, it's super safe to combine your dry ingredients except for the salt kasha dinissolve sa fresh milk. So first is our bread flour. Using bread flour para lang mas makapag-develop tayo ng gluten faster. Some white sugar and instant yeast. Right. Before we move this here, I'll crack the eggs na para dire-diretso. I'm using 2 eggs. It's one thing I can't do is break an egg with just one hand. I don't wanna risk the recipe just so I can look pa-cool. You know who I'm talking about.
You're fired, get out.
Joke lang. Dough hook attachment. So, first, before the milk and the eggs, I'm gonna add in the Tanjong little by little. Okay, next, I'll add my 2 eggs. Followed by the fresh milk. Okay, so why not add the Tanjong after I add my liquids? From experience, ang pwede mangyari dyan is hindi mag-mix in fully yung paste na ginawa mo. Tapos magkakaroon siya ng butil-butil na hindi masaya. Whenever you're using a stand mixer like this, hanggang 1 to 2 lang whenever you're mixing dough. Kasi sa ganyan na maalam yung mixer dati namin na red. Pero hindi ko kasalanan yun. I blame you, Erwan Heussaff. We don't add the butter right away. We want to have some gluten formation. Not fully developed, pero gusto lang natin na mag-develop siya ng onte para it won't have a hard time incorporating the butter in it. So I'll add my softened butter. I think it's ready to rest. Okay, so tabi ko lang to. So check lang natin just to be sure. Get the chunk of your dough, spread it, spread until you get that translucent. Poke it. If it doesn't make a hole, that means your dough is ready. Lodi kita, Lodi. Lodi cakes. So, lightly greased surface. Just plop. Ooh. Sheesh. And just make it into a cute dough. Yeah, so we're gonna bulk ferment this for 30 minutes just so we can develop the flavor of the dough. I really recommend the bulk fermentation. Yeah, so this has doubled in volume. So I'm gonna divide this into 6 bowls. Right, so divide ko siya into 6 because I have 2 loaf pans. Just roll them into nice, cute balls. Or you could actually just, you know what, let's make 2 versions. Man, flatten like this. fold the middle sides, till I get this cute. Oh. So this is my favorite type of loaf pan, by the way, because of the ridges and the material here. It's non-stick, no need to grease it. But as for this one though, it's really important to get the sides, the bottom, so that your bread won't stick. You just so this one I'll put in. So yeah, we made two kinds. One that's like a straight loaf, one that is like in 3 parts. Cover it with a wet cloth, and then just to prevent it from forming a skin. And yun, until double in volume, tas bake na tayo later. So gender reveal. So we started out with like less than the height of the loaf pan, and now it's like over. So it's ready to bake. So next up is the egg wash. This is just 1 egg and 2 tablespoons of water. Because I've already preheated my oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and this is gonna bake for 30 to 40 minutes, really depending on what kind of oven you have at home. Alright, so these are ready to bake. 30 minutes. See you soon, babies. Nice and brown. Sometimes people brush it with butter or a light syrup, pero tayo, masaya na tayo dito. But what I usually do, since we are doing what do you call this, an open top, I sometimes let it cool ng nakataob, just so it doesn't get that, it doesn't cave in. Sheesh. Let's let it rest for at least a minute or 2 before we slice it. Pero at least I'm happy to see na it didn't cave in. Mukhang matatag siya. Tulad ng relationship nyo with me. Just let it cool before we slice it. Yeah, so this is actually what we want to happen. When you squish your bread, it kind of returns back to its original form. It's very good. Just the right amount of sweetness. Actually great for things like French toast. Essential Japanese milk bread.